Right, the Action 5's finally arrived. Let's get it out of the box and take a look at it. Here we go. So the wait is over. The DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro has finally arrived. I've got the Adventure Combo, so let's unbox it and see what you get. Here we go. So let's have a look what you get in the Action 5 Pro combo. You get the selfie stick, which is the same as the Action 4 combo. You get the adhesive mount, the curved one. You get two magnetic mounts. Now these can snap to the side or underneath. Two 1/4" screws. USB-C charging cable. The external housing, and then you get the 3-way charger. Now this is the same as the one you get with the Action 4 combo. The only difference is you've got a white DJI label there. You'll just push the front to see the charge. I've done an in-depth video on this if you search on my channel. It's got all the same features on there if you want to take a look at that. Now DJI's upgraded the batteries on the Action 5 Pro. On the Action 4, the milliamps are 1770 milliamps. Now on the Action 5 Pro, we've got a bit more juice there at 1950 amps. And it's good news for the people who's got the Action 4 because the batteries are interchangeable with the Action 5 and the Action 4. The only difference is, like I've just said, these are 1950 milliamps. So there's a new firmware update on the Mimo app for the Action 5 Pro. So it's always good practice to get that updated first before we dive right in. Now the Action 5 Pro is fully updated to the latest firmware. Let's take a look at the new features on the Action 5. Here we go. And here it is, the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. So all the external dimensions are exactly the same as the Action 4. As I've just said before as well, you'll be pleased to know that the batteries are interchangeable. These 1950 milliamp will fit in the Action 4 and vice versa. The 1770 milliamps will fit in here. Obviously with the 1950 milliamps you're going to get a lot more juice. So let's turn the Action 5 Pro on and take a look at some of the new features. So on the Action 5 Pro you'll have two brand new OLED screens, one on the front, one on the rear. The one on the back being 2.5 inch, and that's a bonus when you're out and about in the field. A larger screen is always beneficial. So today I'm just going to go over some basic features of the new Action 5 Pro, but do stay tuned to the channel as over the next weeks and months I'll be doing some in-depth tutorials, especially on the new features. So just at the bottom left hand corner, if you just tap that icon, you'll be straight into photo mode. Now this is really exciting because on the Action 4 it was just a 10 megapixel camera, and now they've increased this to 40 megapixels. So that's just outstanding, to be honest, on an action camera in today's world. So as you can see in the photo menu there, you've got a 16.9 which is 8 megapixel. It bumps up to 9 megapixel at your 4.3, and then we're going into the large screen at 16.9 at 36 megapixel, and then you've got a 4.3 and that one's at 40 megapixel. As I've just said, I'll be doing some in-depth tests on all these new modes later on. And now I'll just tap the bottom left hand corner again. And the next one across is video mode. Now this one's just going to be relatively the same. If you just tap there, as you can see, you got your 1080. That's going to go right to 240 frames, your 2.7K, a maximum of 120 frames, even in 4.3. Then you got your 4K at 16.9, that's 120 frames. And again in 4.3, 120 frames. And then just at the top there, you just hit that icon, and these are where you got your horizon balancing, rock steady plus, rock steady, or if you don't want any stabilization at all. I prefer rock steady. And then just to the right, you've got your standard D-warp, wide and ultra wide. Again, I do prefer the standard D-Walk look. And then just at the top left there, if you hit that icon, you've got a few video modes. You just got normal video, pre-recording, or loop recording. So now we'll move over to the next mode. Just tap the bottom left hand corner, and this is the brand new mode. It's called the Super Night mode. So with the Action 5 Pro, it's got the next generation 1/13 sensor. It's got the nanometer chip in there, and this has got 13.5 stops of dynamic range. It's also going to increase low light performance capabilities. It's got the new AI noise reduction algorithm, so it's going to be better in low light performance than the Action 4. Now we'll just have a look at the next mode. And it's the new mode, subject tracking. Now this one's quite interesting because it's a fixed camera on the front there. You're going to wonder, how is that going to move around like on the Pocket 3, as that's got a gimbal so that can track you. So this is pretty interesting. Again, I'm going to be doing some in-depth test tutorials on this, so you'll be able to see how that works. But I'll just do a quick clip on this now so you can see how it works on the screen. Here we go. So as soon as you activate this mode and point the camera towards your face, it's going to lock on and keep you center frame. As you'll be able to see from the screen, it's just got a yellow box around your face, and that's going to be great for vlogging. Again, I'm just doing this briefly to show you on the new screen what it looks like. Now I'll hit the bottom left again. And the next one across is slow motion. And the Action 5 Pro has upgraded the slow motion feature. You'll now be able to get 1080 at 960 frames per second, whereas on the Action 4 you just got up to 240 frames per second. So as you can see there, you got 1080p 4x120 and 1080p at 8x240. At 2.7K you'll just get 120 frames, and then at 4K, just as before, you're going to get 120 frames. And the final mode on here is your time-lapse and hyperlapse. Now this is just the same as the Action 4. You just tap the screen there, select the hyperlapse or the time-lapse. You can set the scenes, crowds every 0.5 seconds, 2 seconds for clouds, sunsets are 3 seconds, or the one I prefer is custom. Hit custom, swipe up, you'll be able to set your intervals at the top there, and then the duration at the bottom. So on the Action 5 Pro, you've got Wi-Fi 6.0, and the waterproofing without a case, you can go down to a depth of 20 meters. On the Action 4, without a case, it was down to 18 meters. Now you can buy an external case for this, which will take you down to a depth of 60 meters. And the other great feature on the Action 5 Pro, if you just swipe down from the top, you'll now see that you can swipe across. And this is where you'll be able to get now internal storage as well as your external SD card. So that's a really good option. It's a first on an Action camera. So if you do forget your SD card, or you get a corrupt SD card while you're out on the field, you can just simply switch straight to the internal storage, which is at 48 gig. So that's a real nice feature that DJI has implemented. So the new feature on the drop down menu, if you just hit the settings there and scroll down a little bit, you got your depth and altitude reading. Now this is going to be great for your scuba diving, hiking or parachuting. So on the scuba diving option there, you'll have a depth display, and also underneath that you've got auto record. Now when you highlight that, as soon as you take the camera into water, it's going to start recording, and as soon as you exit the water, it's going to stop recording. That's really good technology. And then when you're hiking or parachuting, you can have an altitude display as well. And then just underneath that, you'll be able to set your metrics in either meters or feet. So I can see on the outside of the camera, they made the shutter button larger and the quick shot button at the side larger. So I think DJI has made these buttons larger so it'll be easy to access if you've got large thick gloves on, if you're hiking or in a snowy environment. So while we're looking at the outside of the Action 5 Pro, you'll be pleased to know all accessories are going to be interchangeable. So that's going to be like your water housing, your ND filters, your mounts, and as I've said before, the batteries. And on the Action 5 Pro, you've got new charging graphics on the rear and on the front. And just like on the Action 4, Inside of the O, you've got a light sensor, so that's going to work with the 1/13 sensor and change the colours and lightings where it suits. So that brings me to the end of the video. Please do stay tuned to the channel, as I'm going to be posting plenty more tutorials with the Action 5 Pro in the near future, especially on the new modes. So for now, thanks for watching, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.